Let me take you back to the early 90s, a time when video games were still finding their identity as a mainstream form of entertainment, and Japan was at the heart of some of the most innovative developments in gaming history. In a small office in Tokyo, a man named Satoshi Tajiri, who had always been fascinated by insects and nature, was working on what would become one of the most iconic franchises in global pop culture, Pokémon. Tajiri grew up collecting bugs, watching them interact, and exploring the natural world around him. As urban development encroached on the fields and streams where he used to explore, he wanted to create something that would allow children to experience that same sense of discovery and adventure, even if they lived in cities. His vision? A game where players could capture, train, and battle creatures, not unlike how he once collected bugs as a kid. That idea became Pocket Monsters, later known worldwide as Pokémon. But creating Pokémon wasn't easy. Tajiri founded Game Freak in 1983 with his friend Ken Sugimori, who would go on to design many of the original Pokémon characters. At first, Game Freak was just a small-time magazine focused on Nintendo games, but Tajiri's dream was always bigger. He wanted to make a game, and he poured everything into developing this concept, despite financial struggles, technical limitations, and skepticism from industry insiders. The idea of trading and battling between two Game Boy cartridges using a link cable was revolutionary at the time, and Nintendo took a gamble on Tajiri's vision. What followed was years of development, sleepless nights, and countless revisions. But eventually, in 1996, Pokémon Red and Green launched in Japan to massive success. It didn't take long before the phenomenon spread like wildfire. What made Pokémon so special wasn't just the gameplay, it was the way it connected people. For the first time, players weren't just playing against a computer. They were connecting with real friends, trading rare monsters, battling each other, and building communities around shared experiences. The core loop of exploration, collection, training, and battling was incredibly addictive, and the variety of Pokémon, over 150 in the original generation, gave players endless hours of replayability. But beyond the mechanics, there was something deeper happening. Pokémon tapped into universal themes of friendship, growth, and adventure. Each trainer had a unique journey, and every player felt like they were part of something bigger than themselves. When Pokémon hit international markets in 1998, it was nothing short of a cultural earthquake. The anime series, which debuted alongside the games, introduced Ash Ketchum, a spiky-haired, determined young boy with dreams of becoming a Pokémon master, and quickly became a staple of Saturday morning cartoons in the US. Kids across America were glued to their TVs, cheering on Pikachu as he zapped enemies with Thunderbolt, crying during emotional episodes like The Problem with Electrike, and debating endlessly about which starter Pokémon was the best. The trading card game exploded in popularity, becoming a social currency among schoolchildren. Suddenly, everyone knew what a Charizard was, and kids were rushing home after school to play the games, watch the show, and trade cards with their friends. Behind the scenes, the team at Nintendo and Creatures Inc., led by Shigeki Morimoto and Junichi Masuda, worked tirelessly to expand the universe. Every new generation of games brought fresh regions to explore, new Pokémon to discover, and evolving mechanics that kept the franchise feeling fresh and exciting. From the forests of Johto to the futuristic cities of Kalos, each setting had its own unique flavor and atmosphere, drawing players deeper into the world. The music, composed by Junichi Masuda and others, became instantly recognizable. Melodies like the Pewter City theme or the Elite Four battle music are etched into the memories of millions. Even the sound effects, the cry of a Pidgey, the hum of a Pokeball opening, became part of a shared cultural language. As the franchise grew, so did its influence. Pokémon wasn't just a game anymore, it was a global lifestyle. It inspired fashion, toys, movies, books, and even augmented reality through Pokémon GO, which in 2016 turned entire cities into Pokémon hunting grounds and got millions of people outside interacting with the real world in ways no game had before. The Pokémon Company became a powerhouse, generating billions in revenue and maintaining strict control over branding and quality. Every new game launch is a major event, with fans dissecting trailers frame by frame, speculating about new features and pre-ordering copies months in advance. The community is passionate, creative, and deeply loyal. Fan artists, YouTubers, streamers, and modders keep the spirit alive between official releases. One of the most remarkable aspects of Pokémon's longevity is how it evolves while staying true to its roots. The core formula remains unchanged. Catch 'em all, train them, battle your friends. But each new entry adds layers of depth, whether it's the introduction of mega evolutions, dynamic battles in Sword and Shield, or the open-world approach of Legends, Arceus. The games have grown more visually stunning, more emotionally resonant, and more socially connected, yet they still carry the same magic that made Red and Blue so unforgettable. And let's not forget the anime, now spanning over 25 seasons, which continues to inspire new generations of fans. Characters like Misty, Brock, Team Rocket, and newer heroes like Serena, Alola champion Leon, and Liko continue to leave lasting impressions on audiences. What makes Pokémon so timeless is its ability to grow with its audience. Children who started with Red and Blue are now adults, passing down the tradition to their own kids. Parents bond with their children over catching Snorlax, teaching them strategy, patience, and sportsmanship. Teachers use Pokémon in classrooms to teach math, biology, and even coding. Cosplayers bring Pokémon to life at conventions. Musicians remix classic tracks, and filmmakers create stunning fan films that rival Hollywood productions. There's a reason why Pokémon has remained relevant for nearly 3 decades, because it speaks to something fundamental in all of us: the desire for adventure, the joy of discovery, and the power of connection. And now here you are, someone who sees the potential in telling this story to a new audience. Whether you're creating a documentary, a retrospective, or a deep dive explainer, this script is designed to captivate listeners from start to finish. It's filled with behind-the-scenes insights, emotional highs and lows, and a celebration of what makes Pokémon one of the greatest stories ever told in interactive entertainment. You'll guide your viewers through the origins of the franchise, the challenges faced by its creators, the cultural explosion that followed, and the enduring legacy that continues today. You'll weave together personal anecdotes, historical context, and expert analysis to craft a narrative that's both informative and deeply moving. So, as you prepare to share this epic journey with your audience, remember that you're not just telling the story of a game, you're telling the story of a movement, a revolution in entertainment, and a piece of childhood for millions around the world. You're honoring the passion of fans, the dedication of developers, and the imagination of a young boy who once caught bugs in the fields near his home. And above all, you're inviting your viewers to relive those moments. The thrill of the first trade, the excitement of discovering a shiny Pokémon, the pride of completing the Pokédex. By the end of your video, they won't just know the facts, they'll feel the magic.